Very often standard wash services aren't accessible to everybody. People who have access issues like disabled people, older people, or maybe someone who has a chronic illness might not be able to access a standard wash facility. And that means that we will never reach universal access because people will always be excluded. So at WaterAid we're working with some collaborative partners, WaterAid and LCD, with funding from Share, to look at developing an inclusive wash approach. And this looks at addressing barriers within society. So environmental barriers related to the structure of facilities, attitudinal barriers related to stigma and discrimination, and institutional barriers related to a lack of information that's accessible, a lack of ability of everybody to participate within a project cycle, and a lack of policies that meet the needs of everybody within society. So we're working with our partners in Uganda and Zambia to develop this approach. In Uganda we've just visited a community in Katakwi with our partner, the Church of Uganda, TEDO. And we've just seen a project that's been actually really inspiring. We came and they did the sanitation ladder with the community. They showed them photos and pictures, drawings of where they want to go. So photos of toilets in an aspirational sense. So the community discussed where they are now. It might be that they have a pit or they defecate in the open. And they spoke about where they want to get to by pointing and discussing the drawings. It might be a VIP latrine, it might be a pit latrine, all different types. And they then spoke about what's stopping them getting to that point and how TEDO can help facilitate that process so that they can achieve safe sanitation and effective sanitation. We were looking at it through the lens of ensuring that everybody can participate. They used photos so that deaf people could see, but they also explained it in an audio way to people who couldn't see. They're disabled people who use crutches, so they spoke about different ways of adapting facilities to make sure that they could use the toilet.
As WaterAid and the partners such as TEDO that we are working with in this community, I think we've played a role in terms of providing information that is needed by the community to be able to support the disabled people, the old people, the chronically ill, to get information on how they can best improve the lives of such people in their communities.
And it was really interesting because the cluster heads actually took this information and helped two people in the community to design a toilet for themselves so that they could use it. We saw one man, 60, I think he was 68, and he was blind, and they designed an accessible toilet for him, which he was really pleased about using before he had to defecate in the open. So this is a real life change for him.
He says that this one is well constructed. Inside there's a slab and he has somewhere to sit and even has the supports.
The second person we spoke to was a disabled girl who walks using a stick, and she had a toilet constructed in her compound as well as a washing area.
Apinjo is Mary. Before constructing this facility, the young girl never used to use a latrine because commonly, whenever she used one, she could end up dirtying herself. But with this design, with this new design, she believes that the young girl can actually now use the facility with so much ease, as she can easily sit and support herself while raising her. She said that they came up with this idea after a sensitization meeting they held with one of the staff of Church of Uganda Tedo, that is Alupo Rebecca. The cluster heads, an educator, together with themselves, the community, came up with this design. The community provided this stone to act as a stool to raise the basin while the disabled bathe. The young girl can actually sit and bathe so easily.
These facilities that are constructed are used now as demonstrations to other people in the community to show them what's possible. Now, these facilities were quite simple. They had simple adaptations and they didn't seem very expensive.
These are local facilities. They use local materials that are easily available in the communities. So I'm impressed because rather than people waiting and thinking that a donor has to come from elsewhere to provide these facilities, I think this is the way to go in terms of sustainability. Perhaps the challenge for the future is how to maintain and ensure that such a facility is kept clean.
Very often a barrier to mainstreaming an inclusive wash within the sector is cost.
My interaction with the partners this morning upon arrival was that mainstreaming disability in WASH is a challenge because we don't have specific resources.
They say it's too expensive. In terms of the hardware costs, we haven't seen that evidence today. We are still monitoring the costs in terms of how much more time it takes to ensure that everybody can participate. So in terms of facilitation and the resources that's related to that. We're also looking at various other costs, operation and maintenance costs. And we're also looking at the institutional aspects. So we've come to see school sanitation today. There's 3 pits for girls, and one of those, an extra one is accessible. So we've looked at that as well, and we're assessing the cost related to making that accessible and how that differs from standard intervention. But I've really enjoyed seeing the work today. I find it incredibly inspiring. We're taking small steps, but they all add up to very big achievements in the long run. And I really think that through this project, through this approach, if we can encourage others to take it up through our influencing work, we really can create a sea of change.